What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets, Action Network's NBA Daily Betting Podcast. I am your host, Sean Little, joined by my guy, always on the Thursday edition of Buckets, Joe Dallaire. JD, how you doing, baby?
Dude, we're doing good. Had a nice holiday and everything. So we finally got a good Thursday slate, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. I sweated out a L in the Bucks
Oh,
Bulls tonight as we record this on Wednesday night for Thursday. But we always looking forward, always looking to make a play. Had a great time on the bet stream, hit a couple bets there, hit the same game parlay on the Timberwolves Pelicans. But we move forward. Let's look at this Thursday slate. JD, give me your best bet.
my best bet is the Clippers +6 against the Boston Celtics. The Clippers are on the road here, but I like this. I think it's a little bit too much on the spread. What are
All
you
right.
on?
All right. I'm on the same game, but I'm going off the beaten path here a little bit. Avisa Zubac under 19 and a half points, rebounds, and assists minus
Wow.
115. All right,
Okay.
JD, talk to me. Yeah, I'm going off the beaten path. I'm going to go a little PRA under. I'll tell you why. Talk to me about why you like the Clippers and the points.
So look, right now it looks like Kawhi and Paul George are both going to play. So this Clippers team is like relatively healthy right now. And honestly, like when those guys play, that team is a wagon. They are good. So like when you look at all the minutes, and I think it's really important to differentiate the Clippers, what they're doing when those two are on the floor versus what they've done over the course of the season. Because like you look at them, their defense has been exceptional even without Kawhi. And I think that that's notable because when you add Kawhi in, the defense becomes like god tier. But like with Kawhi on the floor, the offense is kind of flourishing a bit, and they've got about 500 and like 600 possessions with Kawhi and Paul George on the floor, and they're plus 15.5 in those possessions. Now, just to compare that to the Boston Celtics. So it's 15.5 over the course of 100 possessions, right? Compared to the Boston Celtics, you're looking at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They've got basically 3 times the sample size, but they are a plus 5.6 when that combo is on the floor. So those are two like superstar combos. The Clippers has been exceptional. I think they've been a lot better. And one of the things is too, when those two guys are on the floor, Paul George and Kawhi, they're only allowing 100.5 points per possession per 100 possessions, which would be in the 99th percentile of all lineups. So I really like this spot. I think that maybe they can slow down Boston just enough. And Boston's defense, although it's been getting better, it hasn't necessarily been top tier like it was last year. They're relying a little bit more on the offense. So I think at 6 points, you're getting a full 2 possessions here. And I love this spot for the Clippers. And I think you can even play a little money line at like plus 220. But I think that this is a great spot for the Clippers.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting spot. This is a third. It's going to be their third game in 4 days. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was interesting when I was breaking down because I was looking at the same game with the Zubac PRA. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Boston, now at least as of late, is a little more unpredictable than they were earlier in the year. They
Yeah.
were steamrolling night in night out earlier in the year. Now it's been a little bit more of a crapshoot just on the day to day. All right, I like it. I'm not mad at it. I can't,
All
as
right.
our guy Jay Money says, I can't talk you off that. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's jump into my Zubac under
Yeah.
PRA under 19 and a half minus 115 right now out in the market across the board. Now let's just go over some of these numbers percentage wise on the year. Under 10 and a half boards 52.9% of the time, essentially 53% of the time. Hasn't had a double all year, and he's right at the 50% mark on over 19 and a half points, rebounds, assists. Now, a big part of this cap and why I like this spot is because Time Lord Robert Williams is coming off his best game of the year off the bench the other night. 21 minutes, he had 15 boards, 11 points, made an impact on the defensive end where he does most of his damage. I loved how he looked the other night. 21 points off the bench. I believe he'll get 25 plus coming into
Yeah.
this matchup. I just don't see him scoring a lot. Now, I'm not I'm a little nervous, and if you've been watching the Clippers and Zubac, he's kind of off and on. He'll have monster games.
Yeah.
Like there was a game earlier this year, he had 31 and 29. And then a couple games after that, 7 points, 4 rebounds. So it's kind of hit
Yeah.
or miss. I really like this spot for him to come a little short of the 19.5 number. They played Boston at home a few weeks ago on December 12th, and he finished with 8 total points, rebounds, and assists. I don't see why that would change a lot in this matchup. Also, we know about Horford. He's going to pull Zubac away from the basket, making him stretch a little bit more than he feels comfortable. That's going to pull him away from the basket, pull him away from rebounds. I really like the matchup and the numbers here, because what I'm looking at, just even on a season long viewpoint, he's hitting this spot at a 50% clip. This is not the best matchup for him to go over this number. That's why I'm adding up all the points, rebounds, and assists. If he has a big night on the glass, 11, 12 boards, I don't see him scoring very many buckets either. I really like this spot under 19.5. Third game in 4 days, as I mentioned before, for the Clippers. And Zubac played 72 minutes in the last 2 games. So he may be a bit tired. 3 games in 4 days here coming up. They had a game that went to overtime. He played 41 minutes in that tilt. So I look for Zubac to make an impact, but not typically the big impact that he makes in some of these spots. I'm looking for a letdown spot here. Under 19.5 for the big guy on the Clippers. How
I
do
love
you feel
that.
about that?
I love that. And it actually goes into another of the plays that I kind of liked, and it's Kawhi Leonard to go over 6.5 boards. So Kawhi's minutes have been increasing as the season's gone on. And over the past, what is this? Like 8 games or so, he's been over 30 minutes a game. So when when he first started playing, he was playing obviously like fewer minutes, but as this has gone up, we've really seen his rebound numbers improve, and his line set at 6.5. So I think that given what I expect to be a good Clippers defensive effort, to get 6.5 for Kawhi, he's actually gone over this now in 6 of 7 games that he's played 30 minutes or more. So I like Kawhi to do that. And then, he's obviously going to be stealing a couple boards from Zubac too. So I really like the play. I think the Zubac angle is good on that under.
Would you say this is the best game on the slate for tomorrow? I'm really looking forward to Cleveland versus the
Cleveland,
Pacers as well.
yeah, Cleveland Pacers should be good. And I mean, I think honestly, we have a pretty good slate. Like I'm impressed. Like the past couple Thursdays, it's been barren out there,
Yeah,
but this
tough.
is, I think, a premier game. And it's kind of one of those games that I think we might look back on later and say like, oh man, like I wonder if we'll see those two teams in the finals.
Yeah, I mean NBA TV. That's the slot. So it's a bit of a primetime game in
Yeah.
this middle lull spot between Christmas and New Year's as we head into 2023. Any thoughts on Memphis right now? I thought this number was interesting. In Toronto right now, it sits at -2
Mm-hmm.
for the Memphis Grizzlies as the small favorite. Any thoughts on that matchup? Toronto's been hit or miss all year as well. Siakam's been going nuts overall, but how do you feel about that number? Memphis been, for as much as they talk and as much as they dance, they haven't been covering the number. They've been losing games. They're 5-4 in their last 10 against the spread, 5-4-1. What do you think about
Mm-hmm.
that game?
I mean, honestly, my issue with Memphis is that
4-12-1 against the spread on the road as well.
yeah, and they're just 2-4 over the past 2 weeks, and they're bottom 5 in offense over the past couple of weeks. So I think that there's some disconnect with whatever they're doing. And honestly, the thing with the Raptors is their big thing is they have so much length. And not only that, but they create like their own luck. Like I think I saw the stat, and it was basically that the Raptors create the most extra possessions in the NBA. And those are all like hustle related things. And if Memphis is going to be, like a little cocky, like maybe not play like as hard, like they're going to get cooked by this Raptors team that just doesn't quit. So I think the line stinks. And it's kind of one of those you look at and you go, this should be Grizzlies -2 all day. But
Right.
it makes me want to take Toronto, because I'm looking at that and I'm like, this is a rough spot. I think it's a bad matchup, honestly, for Memphis.
Yeah, and Toronto has played really well this year as an underdog, 9-6 against the spread as an underdog. They're at home, so this is an interesting spot.
Yeah.
I believe I'll just speak for myself. I want Memphis to be really really good and a powerhouse, and I want to take them very seriously as a team that can actually compete in the West. But a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff they do, I have a hard time with it. Like the
Yeah.
comments with Ja talking about, I'm not worried about the West. and he's like 500 against the West.
And he gets spanked 3
Yeah,
games in a row.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he's dominating the West. Like, I'm not worried about the West. You heard what I said. I'm not worried about them. And then in the last 10, they can't cover the number at all. Fading them would be a very profitable spot. So I want to take Memphis seriously, but night in, night out, it's hard to do so. So I'm interested to see in that tilt as well. That should be fun. Another interesting game. The New York Knicks laying 5, smelly, in San Antonio. Jalen Brunson questionable. He missed his first game of the year the other night
tough.
against Dallas. They looked really good early, collapsed down the stretch. And you could tell as that game closed, they didn't know what to do on the offensive end and how to close that game. Jalen Brunson was needed immensely to close that game against Dallas. They couldn't get it done. And it ended up being a historic night for Luka Doncic. But
that's crazy.
That's if you're looking at that game and want to bet that spot, I would highly advise waiting to see if Jalen Brunson's going to play. Even if you miss out on a point and a half, I would still wait. I wouldn't try to I would not want to back the Knicks. I don't care where they are without Jalen Brunson on the floor. He's that big of a difference maker for them.
Plus, those guys played so many minutes. Like they played I think Quickly played like 50 minutes. Like, right. I mean, McBride was over 4. Like they just insane minutes. So, I mean, without Brunson, this is going to be a little bit of a tougher spot. I actually would wonder if Tibbs would consider inserting some other guys maybe into the rotation after that. But you know him, he probably won't. But I do like if Grimes Grimes should play, I like him to bang a bunch of threes in this game. The Spurs are bottom of the league. They're literally last in 3-point percentage allowed. So if Brunson plays, I think it should open it up even more for him. And I like Grimes to hit some threes in this matchup.
Yeah, like you said, Julius Randle played 45 minutes, Quickly played 51 minutes, Quentin Grimes played 48 minutes, McBride played 46. But also, just following what you said, Grimes was 7 of 16 from 3. Julius Randle was 5-11 from 3. Now, I follow the Knicks closely because I work for MSG. I'm on the network side, and there has never been a time where Julius Randle shot the ball well and did not get up attempts in the next game. It's just not in his DNA. That's not the type of guy he is. So if especially if you're playing a team like the Spurs that can't defend the 3, Julius Randle just went 5 of 11. I could almost guarantee you he's at least going to get 6+ attempts up from 3 in this next tilt against the Spurs. Quentin Grimes has been playing out of his mind. So I like that look on Grimes over 3s. Take a look at Randle. But that should be a spot where they at least get the attempts up. And that's all you can ask. There's nothing worse than taking a prop and you're on an over and, for example, a 3-point prop, and you need over 2.5 and the player takes 2 or 3.
It's the worst.
That's not going to get it done. But Julius Randle is going to get his shots up. He always does, especially coming off a big game like he had against Dallas, 29-18 on 5 of 11 from 3. So be on the lookout for that. Anything else before we get out of here, JD?
No, it should be a good slate, and I'm pretty excited for it. And, last one of the year.
Yeah, no doubt. Exactly right. Last one of 2022. Let's hope we cash out. To recap, JD is on the Clippers is plus 6.5.
I think there might be 6.5 out there. I think it's around 6 right now on FanDuel.
Okay, we'll call it 6 for JD and the Clippers taking on the Boston Celtics, and I'm going the same game. Ivica Zubac under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists right now, sitting at minus 115. For Joe Delera, I am Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe to us. Check us out on Twitter. I'm at Chicago Flow. JD's at Joe Delera. Same way in the award-winning Action Network app. Shout out our guys over at FanDuel, always holding us down. For now, we'll see you guys next time. Never forget it. Always get buckets, baby.